We're live. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, episode number 3. And today we have Mr. Yemi. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your second name.
No, try.
Abeyobi.
No, it's phonetically. So Ade Foye.
Adefoye. I should know this. I really should know this.
Nigerian names are the easiest names, even though they look complicated because you pronounce them how they're read.
Sweet. So Yemi, Mr. Ifbbpro,
Yes,
Mr. Gymshark athlete,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vlogger, Mr. has a whole hella backstory to talk about.
Best in the UK. No,
Mr. Smallest waist in the UK.
Yeah, trust.
There's lots to delve into, but I want to go back to before I knew you.
Yeah.
The backstory, growing up in London, what part of London, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, take it away from childhood.
Alright. Well, if we bring it real back, my mum was a single mum. She actually, I would say, legitimately grinded from nothing. Like, she moved from Nigeria to the UK at, like, when I was around the time I was becoming born, I think, or if anything, she had me while she was moving to the UK. So I think around 21, 22, she started having me. She moved to the UK, and, you know, she had no money, no nothing. I even think that somebody from Nigeria might have even used her name to get out a council flat, so she couldn't even get a council flat. So, like, for a lot of time she was homeless and stuff. So yeah, my mum's a soldier. Then we obviously moved to, like, she had a friend that we used to live with when I was a kid, and we moved to, like, Streatham, which is where I grew up for most of my time. So from, like, as long as I can remember, I was in Streatham. And then obviously I started going to school in Croydon, and then we moved to Croydon after I left school, which was, like, the most unnecessary thing ever. Like, I don't think there's anything worse than, like, having to commute, like, basically 2 or 3 hours a day just to move closer to school after you finish, but it's what it is. But yeah, so then I went to Halem Manor, which got turned into Harris Academy Purley, which was a really shit school at the time, but I think now it might be good. Then we went to college, South Thames College, did art and design there. Didn't train really. I think I started going to the gym at like 16 or 15-ish, but I kind of stopped by like 17, 18, 19. By 19 I was out the gym, like I wasn't going at all in any way, shape or form. And then, like, all I wanted to do was just chill with my friends and make music and smoke weed, so that's what I was doing pretty much. Then
Pretty much still what you're doing, just gymming
yeah,
as well.
just gym.
Just in Manchester.
I don't make music anymore. But you never know. Maybe I might drop a random EP. Who knows? But yeah. Then we went to University of Bedfordshire, and I did photography and video art, which at the time, like in 2014, Instagram was not a job. YouTube was barely, like, people were making money from YouTube, but it was not really that big of a thing. So it's funny because I feel like my course is basically like Instagram.
Yeah.
So, like, I was maybe ahead of my time by accident, by luck. Who knows? Maybe, you know, the universe had its way to put me in the best position to, you know, be able to do what I'm doing today. But regardless, that didn't do that well. I only did 2 years, and second year I was commuting, so I didn't actually really go in that much. I passed some things, failed some things, but I was told I wasn't allowed to come back, which is quote unquote the email I got from my teacher when I asked him what happened with my referrals.
So we don't want you back.
Yeah, he literally said, you failed some stuff, you passed some stuff, but
Maybe he knew you had a brighter future idea.
yeah, maybe. Who knows? I mean, I finished uni in 2015, 2016. So that was a fair while ago. I mean, I didn't get into the gym until I was 24. So I think that was like 3 or 4 years prior to even stepping foot in the gym, which is insane. But I spent that time in between like uni and getting in the gym, like traveling and just like being a bum. Didn't really do much, like was just focused on music. I thought I was definitely gonna make it, but music industry is very hard to crack, especially nowadays. There's so many things behind the scenes that does not allow people to excel just from how good they are or the work they put in. There's a lot more factors to it. So anyway, politics aside of music, I found the gym because my mum was already training. She started competing and got a pro card in the Ifbbpro. She actually won the Arnold Classic South Africa. So it's kind of funny that I won mine at the
Yeah,
Arnold
I was going to
Classic.
say, I was going to bring it back to your mum because I know she obviously had a massive influence on bodybuilding and that for you.
Yeah, yeah. So she started training, I think maybe 3 or 4 years before I even started going to the gym. So she was like fairly into it by the time I started training. I think by the time I started caring about the gym is when she felt like the first year I started training is the year. So basically, I did my first year of training, and then after like a few months, I did my first prep. And then I remember going to South Africa for the Arnold Classic because she did it as a pro in the Ifbbpro. So I remember being on prep during that time as well. I must have been like 8 weeks out when we first went out there. So we went out there, came back, and then obviously I won my first show. And then after the whole reason why I even did the first show is because I said to my mum, like, you're too miserable in prep. It can't be that hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just went there to prove a point, but I kind of forgot that I went to prove a point and just like kind of got engrossed in it, and I actually enjoyed being on stage and stuff like that. It felt like back when I was making music, and it felt like, you know, where I was meant to be at the time. So then I just was like, yeah, like maybe music wasn't for me, but this is, you know, I still get to be on stage. I still get to have somewhat of a voice. I still get to be a somebody. So I think that's all I really wanted to be. Like I think music was just the avenue to like be able to live the life that I live today.
Yeah, it was the vehicle to get you there.
Yeah, exactly. In my head I was like, if I make music, I can live freely, I can work how I want to, I can be the person that I want to be, I can work for myself. And like in reality that wouldn't have never happened. So maybe that is the reason why this worked out better, because this is the actual job that I can be who I want to do, be who I want to be, and be myself, you know. People feel like when you're a Gymshark athlete, you have to like act a certain way and stuff like that. But yeah, most of the stuff that I post that sometimes I think is a bit risky, I get messages from members of Gymshark like being like laughing at it. Like,
Yeah.
like,
That's just you being yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's massively important as well, how you build your social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Just about your personality.
You gotta be yourself on social media, man, because like at the end of the day, everybody wants to be someone, you know. Like even if someone has 100 followers and they say I don't care about social media, if you told them, listen, I can make you have 100,000 followers and get all the sponsorships that you want in a year's time, if all you do is 3 things every day, they will do those 3 things every day. So, you know, if you want to stand out, you just got to be yourself, I think, and you got to try everything and just be consistent with it, you know. Like, even when it comes to social media, I was doing this for, like, when I started training, as soon as I started training, I was like, all right, I need to get somewhere with social media. Like, I knew I was wanting that. By the time I was on prep, I was paying the cameraman every week, was getting content every month, Like, once a month, I'll do a shoot with him. We'll just get content for the entire month and just be posting it. And I remember that page was growing slowly. Then the lockdown happened and then it just tanked my engagement. I remember like I was going from like max, before I was working with him, like 120 likes to like getting up there to like 300, and I was slowly seeing that progression, and then like lockdown came and just slapped my like I couldn't even pass 100 likes on posts sometimes after that.
And was that a different account to the account you have now?
It's a different account to the account that I have now.
Because I remember when I met you, that's the weekend you won your pro card.
Yeah.
That was a new account.
Yeah.
And that had like 1,500
so
followers.
I had that account.
How many followers do you have now?
41.5.
41.5. So how did you go from say 1.5k when I first met you to where you are now in the space of 2 years?
Yeah, in the space of a year, really.
Year and a bit.
So I had that first account knowing how to make social media content, right? And then I was like, okay, this account is literally dead. So I made another account. And then like that account actually stopped as well. It just wasn't growing at all. And I remember being super frustrated. I went onto TikTok. I started growing my TikTok account. My TikTok went up to like 53k between like the prep that I was going for my pro card and then after the pro card, of course. So I remember being like, all right, cool. Why is my TikTok growing, but YouTube, my Instagram's not? And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna do it again. So I made a third account, which is the one that you saw. And like by the time I got to the Arnold's, I wanted to get 1,000 followers by the time I stepped on stage, which was like, I think I made that account 2 weeks prior. Yeah, like 2.5 weeks prior to the Arnold's. I remember making the account, trying to, boost the account and stuff, like promoting it on my old account, deleting my old account so people didn't even think that about my old account. and had to get my new account. And then like I did the race trick, and I thought, okay, if I win the overall at the race trick, I can use that for clout. I'm gonna message all these big accounts and stuff like that. Then I didn't win the overall. I didn't even win my class. I got third in my class, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be getting my pro card like in 2 weeks. Like, how the fuck is this gonna work out? So I was like, all right, well, it's fine. So then I kind of just started messaging those vlog pages anyway. I remember messaging like bodybuilders without borders, and they told me that £25. I messaged Con. I was like, yo, Con, what you saying? Like, trying to charge me money. He was like, don't pay that. I was like, all right, cool. So I didn't even pay him at the end. I was even contemplating paying that 25, and I was like, no, it's fine. Then I went and did the Arnolds, won the Arnolds, and then I started getting reposted by the same pages that were trying to charge me money. And I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And that's why, and I messaged Connor, I was like, bro, you was right not to pay them, because obviously now it's worked out well. And he was like, yeah. And even Daniel from Bodybuilders Without Borders apologized for not fucking with me, basically. He was like, all right, like, I should have seen it coming. So, like, you know what I mean? Now he reposts me all the time, even some off-season updates and stuff. So, you know, I fuck with Daniel heavy.
Sweet.
But yeah, I think the reason why I was able to grow between the Arnolds and now is actually quite simple. So, with social media, right, it's about familiarity. So, it's about repetition. And what I ended up doing with the Arnold Classic, because I had a really high quality video from the routine, and then a really high quality from the your first impression, and I used those clips, and then I had the Magic made a video from I think my routine as well. So I had those 3 videos, and I just said, all right, cool. And then I had a videographer in the crowd as well. So I messaged a guy called Bailey. Shouts out to Bailey as well. His Instagram is Carter Creations. He when I did the Arnold Classic in 2021, he was just in the crowd. He used to follow me, and he was just like, oh, I just took a whole bunch of videos and made a little video for you. And I was just like, okay, this is back when I was like stressing myself out about not growing on socials. And like, this is the one thing I'll say as well before I even continue. If you are growing on socials, no matter how many followers you have, don't stress, because you don't know who's following you. You know, like, I remember coming off that stage, you know, I was stressed about not growing in 2021. And then kids are coming up to me trying to take pictures with me, you know, this random person taking this video of me. Like, this is only because they fucked with what I was doing. Just because the number wasn't big doesn't mean that the people that weren't following didn't care. You know, those people cared a lot. So, you know, don't be discouraged. Treat people as if you're a big, you know, as a big business or a big influencer from when you're not. Because the people that follow you, they're gonna fuck with you, assuming that you give them something to fuck with. You know, if you start crying on social media about the fact that they haven't got more people there, they're gonna be like, so do I not matter?
Do I not matter? Yeah. So you had 2 previous accounts for the current account you have now.
Yeah. So
what made you say, fuck this, I'm going to start a new account and start over? Because I know a lot of people will be like, no, I have so much content, so much time put into this. You know, I have built up an audience. It might not be a big audience, but it's kind of like that sunk cost fallacy where they've, you know, put time into it that they don't want to give it up. What made you think, no, restart again?
So there's 2 things, right? I was getting indications from social media to say that there are other things other than my content holding me back.
Okay.
Because I could objectively say at the time that I was posting better content than at least 80% of the people that had bigger followings than me. So because I could objectively look at my content and go, yeah, I'm putting in, you know, good content, and I'm objectively saying I am putting in as much physical hours as possible into making this content as good as possible, there should be some sort of relevance, you know, like, basically I always say, like, if you don't have a result, like, this is result based, right? Basically bodybuilding is results based, social media is results based. If you put out good content on social media, you will grow. If you put out, you know, good training, you will grow. So if I'm training well and I'm not growing, then there has to be something assessed there. Yeah. Exactly the same with my social media. So I was like assessing what's going on. Why can't I get more than 100 likes? Why can't I get more than 200 likes, 300 likes? So then I said, all right, cool. It's not the content itself. It must be the account. So I said, it doesn't really matter about all the work that I've done beforehand. All the work that I've done beforehand was teaching me how to make better content today. So the account itself, I have no emotional attachment to my accounts in any way, shape or form. Even now, with my bigger account, I don't have a emotional investment to it. If somebody, God forbid, if it deleted today, I'll just start again.
So start again.
Because I know what to do now.
You know what to do, yeah. It's
People
like
know who I am.
once you have figured it out, it's like Elon Musk. He made millions and he got all wiped out and he made millions again.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you have it figured out, you know what to do. You know
every millionaire can go broke and every millionaire can make it again.
Yeah.
A billionaire. It's exactly the same process. So it's like, I don't need to have an emotional attachment to the account itself. I need to have an emotional attachment to the content and to my followers. Because the people that follow me are the people that keep me going. The people that follow me are the people that buy from, Gymshark, and that's what keeps me getting better contracts and get, more contracts and more money and stuff like that, and, commissions. And then the people that follow me are the allow me to get recognition from these brands.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no brand's going to take on somebody with 2,000 followers just because they have good content.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it needs to benefit both people. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
No one's going to take you on with 2,000 followers when they're not going to get anything from that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to slightly switch it a small bit. Going back to growing up in Streatham, what's that like? Because for me, my knowledge of Streatham is Dave's music.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. So what's it like growing up in Streatham in the 2000s with a single mom? What talk me through that?
Yeah, okay. I would say, like, for me personally, because I'm very much like my own person, I've never been the kind of person that I wouldn't say never needed to fit in, but I've been the person that if I see that if I like trying to fit in is gonna compromise myself, I'm not gonna force it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously when you're a kid, you want to be cool in it, but I was okay with like being like I ain't fucking with certain things. Obviously, there was a whole bunch of pressures. I remember, like, some of my friends coming out of jail, being in jail, being like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I was just like, listen, I ain't doing none of that. Like, but with that being said, obviously, like, there's so many little things where you can see day to day where it's just like, it's a trap almost. Like, it's not because of Streatham or anything like that, but it's just the mentality that a lot of people from my school had and stuff like that, especially my primary school. I remember, like, there was a point where, like, pretty much, I could say like at least 30% of the people that went to my primary school had spent a stint in jail. And it's just like, it's crazy. Well, at least the males, which is a crazy amount of people to when you deep it in like your year. It's a lot of people that have gone to jail, and probably more than that at this point now, or spent at least a few hours in jail and stuff like that. Obviously, like, I would say that it was one of those things where, with gang violence, you don't necessarily get too involved in it unless you involve yourself in it. You know what I mean? So, like, civilians don't typically get put into bad situations. Obviously, some people get robbed and some people can get, like, if you walk around certain areas, even in, like, central London, if you're walking around with Rolex, you might get your Rolex taken, right? But, like, day to day, like, you're not going to deal with too much bad shit unless you're into bad shit yourself, like,
Unless you're seeking it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's mostly people that are doing stuff like that are going to get those kind of results out of their life. So I think it is one of those things that you can be a product of your environment, assuming that you allow yourself to be a product of your environment. If you don't allow yourself to be that product, you won't have to worry about it too much. Yeah,
and I imagine it's quite character building as well, growing up in there like that, and then probably going against the grain, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Persuaded by friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Get involved in this, get involved in that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when you have the ability to actually see your friends doing stuff, making money from all these things and stuff like that, and you just go, you know what, fuck it, I'd rather not. I do think that it allows you to really see who you are and become the person that you want to be, because I always say, like, everybody makes their own choices to who they want to be in life.
Exactly, yeah.
So you got to make those choices for yourself and decide what do you want from life. And if you want something more than that from life, then you've got to make the choices, even if they are the hard choices. Because at the end of the day, no one else is responsible for any of your fuck-ups other than yourself. You can make all the excuses that you want, but at the end of the day, they fucking don't matter. They don't matter. If you did something bad, then you have to pay the consequence for that. And if you do something good, you also have to pay the consequence for that. There are always consequences to every action in life. So just decide the consequences that you want to ingest in your life.
Yeah. And it's like something I hear Chris Williamson speak about. It's like there's good role models, but there's also bad role models. You can look at them people and say, you're a role model to me because you're exactly who I don't want.
Yeah, listen, like they say, right? What do they say? A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. So, I've seen so many people that I've not wanted to be like, and I've been like, all right, cool. Well, it's easy not to be that person.
Yeah. And would you say Streatham was, I suppose, quite poverty struck and it was quite poor in general, or?
See, this is the problem with anywhere in London, right? It's like you have the massive juxtaposition. So for example, if you know the mayor of London now, Sadiq Khan. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's still the mayor of London. Anyway, he was the mayor of London. Back when I lived in Streatham, he lived across the road from me.
Is it?
Yeah, and this motherfucker, yeah, okay. So before
it's okay, you can say he's not going to be listening. I don't think the mayor of London's tuning in as of yet.
Anyway. No. If he listens, I don't even care because he needs to know this. So this guy, right? Before he was obviously the mayor of London, he was an MP. And his role as an MP, I remember seeing this clearly as day through my letterbox. His role was to look at people in housing situations, right? And my house across the road from his had fucking damp, we had this I only know now because I have a rain, but back then I didn't. So we had this basement, right? And in my house we had this basement, and in the basement we only had one function for it. It was to charge the keys. When you have a pay-as-you-go system. Yeah. So we had the card for the gas and we had the key for the electricity. I remember going down that thing, and every single time you could open up the door and all you smelled was damp because basically there was a massive hole in the side of the wall where water would flood in. So if it rained or anything like that, it would just pour in there. But we had no idea where the water was coming from. We called up our MP, we called up the council, we sent pictures, we sent all these pictures of the damp, we sent the pictures of the rot and the mold, and even there was times when the washing machine for the neighbours upstairs would shake so much that the water would come through the light fixture and stuff like that. And they would do nothing, absolutely nothing. But then you come out your house and you look across the road and you see this motherfucker with scaffolding on his house every fucking day because he was fixing up something. And it's the craziest feeling to watch somebody that camera's off, by the way. So that it's the craziest feeling to watch somebody have all this stuff happening to their house when you don't have shit. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? This is insane to look at. And then and the worst thing is it was his job at the time, so obviously now he still has it. I'm pretty sure if you went to his house now, it wouldn't have the scaffolding because it's probably really fucking nice. But I remember doing delivering papers to this guy, right? And if I delivered the papers too loud, his wife would come out and shout and stuff like that. It's bitch, I'm delivering papers to your house. I'm fucking 12 right now. I wasn't even probably 12. I was probably 15 or some shit. Cause I was delivering them papers till I was in college, so I must have stopped at 17. But the point being is that she was such a bitch, and it's bro, you can tell. I always say, if you deal with the helpers and the staff members shit, you probably treat people in your life like shit. So imagine how she treated people in her life, and this is the energy that you're having people that you're voting into power. Listen, the politics in the UK is so fucked.
Yeah, I was kind of going back to that because the biggest variable in kind of depending on how much, I suppose, how successful or how wealthy a person is the postcode in which they're born in. It's not their family, it's not their peers, it's not their education, it's the postcode within they are born in. So I'd imagine it can be quite inspiring for, say, younger youths from your area, seeing you going on, getting a Gymshark sponsorship, doing this, making something of yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's definitely leading a good example. So going back to, say, when I first met you, that was the weekend when the pro card.
Yeah, that was the weekend.
Talk me through that experience, that feeling. Obviously, it's a lot of it's. I know what it's like bodybuilding. You put years into this. You've prepped multiple times. You obviously came third in your class 2 weeks before. So that was a big letdown. How did everything happen in them 2 weeks? Obviously, that's when you joined Ross as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
and everything kind of changed from there.
Yeah. So I'll start with the race trip because it makes the most sense. So that year, I was. You know what? I'll start even before the race trick. When I started that prep in May. April. And the plan was to go pro. That was it. I was like, I'm going pro this year. I don't care what happens. We're going to do it. So it was like, all right, fuck it. In my head, I really wanted to get revenge from the Arnolds because I didn't win the Arnolds the year before I won it. I got third. But I was like, you know what? The British finals are coming. Let's do the British. So it was like, all right, cool. We started prepping for the British. And then, like, I came into the British, walked in the day of, before the registration happened, I get a call from Rob. And he's like, you didn't do a regional this year, so you can't do the pro qualifier. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, like, there was a rule change this year. Because before that, you could do it within 12 months. So if I did a show in April 2021, I could do a show in February 2022. But they changed it that year, and I didn't see the rule change. Now, when I've got to the show, I was like, you know what, maybe they won't notice, whatever. Even I remember speaking to Josh backstage, he was like, yeah, like, they don't really check it. But when I walked in there was a massive line through my name with a highlighter to say, like, if he comes in, don't let him do it because he's not qualified. So I was, like, a bit confused, like, because I thought, wow, like, someone must have snitched.
Yeah.
But, so, and, like, you know when you feel like everything's against you at the time, so you're fucking stressing. I remember even that night, I went to bed, I was fucking pissed, bro. Like, my heart was in my throat the entire night and the entire day. I've gotten there, stepped on stage and did the novice class, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to get a novice win, and then I'm going to just call it a wraps for the year. 2022 wasn't my year. We'll just, you know what I mean, we'll just go again next year. Stepped on stage, did the novice class, and I got second, bro. Out of 3 people. When I looked at that, and the person that was third was not very good. So, like, it was barely second, bro.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was here to get my pro card, and I haven't even got a novice class win.
Yeah.
That's insane. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, so we was gonna call it a wrap, and then like, cause I had just lost my job as well. So I lost my job just before the month before. Like, I must have been 5 weeks out. So.
And is that because you were on prep and you just weren't able to give it your time?
Nah, because the person I hired was selling me all these dreams about, you're working with a Nigerian guy, he's gonna understand you, And then, like, it was a sales role, but then they had me opening up the gym at 6 o'clock.
Oh, so, that was, I know the gym, yeah.
How on earth are you getting sales at 6 a.m.? You finish a shift at what, like 2:45?
Yeah.
Who's signing up a gym at 2:45? Everyone's signing up a gym at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m, yeah.
We know this, like, especially I have years of sales experience. Anyway, there's what it is. I'm not going to go into dragging the gym way.
You can do.
That man is a liar as well, bro. This man, bro, he told me that he owned LA Fitness and sold it.
Which you didn't.
There's no fucking way, bro. That gym was so empty. You think that went from, like, if I owned, let's just say I owned, what's the biggest chain of gyms in JD Gyms? Let's just say I owned JD Gyms and sold JD Gyms and opened up another gym. Do you think my next gym's going to be barely open?
Nah.
Exactly. Anyway. Fuck the gym way. Back to where I was going. So, yeah, I lost my job. So I used my last payment to pay for that show. So that's another reason why it hurt. Because I was like, I just paid the last money out of my pocket to do this show.
And I didn't get what I wanted.
I wasn't even allowed to step on stage in the open stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was the biggest fuck you in the world. So I was like, shit, is what it is. And I was like, you know what? People were like, yo, just keep on trying. Like, can't really call it quits after one show.
But that just goes to show as well, like what was the mindset from not even winning your novice class to then saying, fuck it, I'm going again in 2 weeks, and then winning? Like,
bro,
that
wasn't the worst thing is it wasn't 2 weeks.
Was it?
The British was in July.
Oh, okay.
So I had to stay on prep for another 7 weeks.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because the thing is, so basically, I made a deal with my parents and said, listen, if you lend me the money to enter the next show, then we'll do it together. Well, because my mum obviously still competes. She wants to get a pro card in the Ifbbpro League. Yeah. So I took some money from my parents that I paid back. I took some money from my parents and, just ran it to till September. So obviously, I've just borrowed money from my parents. I've just spent the last money on this last show. And now I've stepped on stage to do the regional.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this overall win. And we're gonna get the Arnold win. Got third place.
Third place.
So I was like, all right, this is all right, whatever. So third, I think the mindset going from the British to the race trick was I just can't fucking lose at this point. Like if I lose, like it doesn't, like this is all for nothing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believed in my head that I was a pro athlete. You know, I believed that I was better than a whole bunch of Ifbbpros.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to get this pro card at some point, right? So I was just like, alright, fuck it. I've not quitted, you know, anything. I don't quit, so I'm just not gonna quit again. Then when I got third at the race trick, I was like, I lost my badge, my number badge, right? And my stepdad, who's my coach at the time, said to me, oh no, they couldn't let you win. It's because you lost your badge. And I was like, nah, it can't be that.
Yeah.
And that was the mindset switch, because before that, bro, I probably would have taken that and been like, yeah, it has to be the fucking car. It has to be the number.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah.
You were accepting of the fact that it wasn't that.
Yeah, I was like, nah, fuck that. I was like, there has to be something more than that. So I went to the judges and said, listen, what do I need to do to win? And they said, if you came in sharper, deeper lines in your glutes, deeper lines in your lower back, you could have got second. So they didn't even think I could have won the show. Yeah. So I was like, all right, that's bullshit. But all right, cool. We'll just take that one. So then I applied with Pro Coach, and I was like, yeah, let's see what's good with Pro Coach. You know, I spoke to Brandon Harden backstage, and he spoke about things that he was going to use that I didn't even know you could use on the prep, and it made me think, all right, cool. There is a whole bunch of things that we don't know about.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why the whole Pro Coach cheat codes thing came about.
Yeah, I know. Because I was there for the weekend.
Because I was like, they got cheat codes over here that we don't know about in my camp. So I was like, all right, cool. I've messaged Pro Coach's page, and it turns out Cal took the inquiry, and he just gave me his price discounted, Ross's price discounted even more so, and then Zach's price discounted. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I'm looking at, and he was like, yeah, but he was kind of like hinting to go to Ross. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll take the call with Ross. But I wasn't really sold on leaving, I'm not going to lie, because it's my stepdad. I felt like a little bit of loyalty and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll just take on his call, see what he's saying, maybe get some feedback, and then just run it with my stepdad. So I had the call with Ross, and he just broke down everything. He showed me the fucking year timeline. He showed me how they do the food, how they do their training. I'm like, my mind's getting blown. Like, everything he's pulling up, I'm like, this is next level. I've never seen anything like this in my life, bro. I've been used to getting my training program through a WhatsApp message and all my food through a WhatsApp message. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, this is new. Like, a year being planned out is insane. Let's figure it out. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's run it. And then, like, then I was like, all right, well, I'm down, but, like, I'm scared to talk to my stepdad about this. Then I went to my stepdad and asked him, so what's the plan? And then he just turned to me and was like, no, fuck, I'm just going to say it. He just turned to me and was like, we're going to run a grammar trend. And I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Stop.
We ain't doing that.
I spoke to Ross and I'm going to go to him. Legit, like, he was like, because, mind you, my trend was pretty high at the time. It was probably like 750, right? And I was like, when I told Ross my cycle, he actually started laughing because of how it didn't make any sense. Yeah. Now I know it just doesn't make any sense to have a trend that high, but obviously I was just listening to my stepdad. I thought he knew enough, so I just thought I'll just take his advice. Like, so when he told me a grammar trend, I was just like, listen. I spoke to Ross. He told me that we're gonna run like 150 trend. And I'm down to do that, really. And he was like, all right, cool. And he was like to me, I was going to tell you to go to Cal after the Arnolds, to be fair. And I was like, well, I'm going to Ross now. So then, obviously, me and Ross ran his plan, which was just put me on a bikini girl diet, 1,400 calories, which worked. I almost passed out twice, but it worked.
But it works.
And then I got a job just before the Arnolds, so I was in the best position to, move forward after the Arnolds. I remember Ross being like, "Yeah, we can do France the week after or something like that." I don't know. There was a show like a week or 2 weeks later, and I was like, I looked at that message and was like, "No, we're getting the Arnolds."
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 days out or something like that, 3 days out when we started carbing up. Ross replied me. He was like, "This is the first time I'm actually gonna say this, but you could actually win the Arnolds." And I was like, "Yeah, no shit."
Yeah, but you had that mindset the whole time. Even after you lost your fucking, you came third.
At
you came
no
second.
point when I lost did I stop believing in myself.
And how important is that?
I think that's the most important thing, especially in especially in anything where you have to solely do anything. So any sport where you have a role to play or anything that you need to do something in, you cannot falter when it comes to self-belief. You can falter on if you're good enough right now. You can falter on every aspect of everything other than self-belief. You have to be almost delusional in how much you believe in yourself, to a point where if you tell people, I told people that I was going to win the Arnold, people told me I ain't going to win it. Yeah, I told people that I was going to, go to the Olympia, people have told me that I'm not going to the Olympia. People don't believe in me, and that's completely fine because I believe in me.
And you see that with all athletes. You see it with football players, like Ronaldo, for example. When anyone's asked, who's the best footballer? Me. They all have that mindset that they're the best.
Yeah, 100%.
And you think that is crucial to be at the top of the game?
100%, because at the end of the day, right, you got a dream so big that you make small minds feel uncomfortable. And everybody else is going to have a smaller mind than you at the time until you're proving them right. Yeah. So you have to believe in yourself, because no matter what you're doing, I'm not saying that you should go out there and start telling everyone, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia, when you have shit at genetics or you're not doing well. Like, I can't go up to Chris Bumstead and be like, I'm going to beat you one day.
Yeah.
But I can definitely believe it, and I definitely do. I definitely believe that I could beat Chris Bumstead if, I had enough time, and, with enough time I could beat Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
Now, if that happens or doesn't happen, it's up for the world to find out. But with that being said, in my head, that's how I see it. And that's how it should be, because no one's going to believe in you more than yourself, not one person.
People are so afraid to speak out, like, with belief in themselves. Like, I don't know anyone else that would say that. That would say, I could beat Chris Bumstead. But because they won't say it out loud, it's probably why it will never happen.
Facts.
You've got to speak into existence.
Facts. Like, I even saw this video of Chris, and he was like, getting interviewed, and they asked him, do you think that anyone's going to beat you? And he said straight up, this is this year as well, he straight up said, no one's going to beat me, because backstage everyone's trying to be my friend.
Yeah, true.
He's not seen anyone with the killer mindset to beat him. Chris didn't say, oh no one's got the genetics to beat me. He didn't say, oh no one's got the work effort to beat me. He said, no, they're all trying to be my friend. That's the only reason why he confidently can say that no one's going to beat him. I can confidently say that I don't give a fuck about being Chris's friend.
Yeah,
I care about his title, because his title will change my life.
Change your life.
If I become Mr. Olympia, my life becomes infinitely better. I have seen my life improve incrementally every single time that I've stepped forward in bodybuilding. Getting my pro card, I started growing on social media. Going to Ireland, I started getting sponsorships and stuff like that. Every single time that I've made a step forward in my bodybuilding career, I've had a financial or substantial improvement in my life in some aspect of it and some way.
And say the correlation now between prep and business or personal growth, is that strategic for you, or is it kind of like, right, when the prep, whenever comes, or is it like, right, I'm prepping and I want this to come out the back end of it?
I think it's a mix of both, right? Like, you go into it with the intention of you prep at the time that makes the most sense for that thing, and then you take what you can with it. So, for example, Ireland last year was probably a too early show for me to have taken, in the sense of, if I had done a show, let's just say, at the end of 2023, I would have had a better chance of winning a pro qualifier and going to the Olympia. With that being, because I would have had a long off season. With that being said, Ireland meant way too much to Ross. Ireland meant way too much to me, and there was way too much to gain from social media not to have taken it. And in hindsight, I lost my job when I was 6 weeks out from Ireland.
Seems like you have a habit of losing your job. Just when you're a couple of weeks out from a show.
I keep on losing my job like weeks out from a show, but this time it was different because I haven't gone back to work since. And Ireland's the reason why, you know. I knew for a fact that the honest truth is that I wouldn't have kept that job even if I wasn't on prep. Reason being is because I was doing way too much for myself outside of the workplace. So, for example, I was working with we started prep in, let's just say March. By March, I had done about 4 or 5 shoots with Gymshark and a campaign. If you had a salesperson, your only salesperson in the gym, would you keep that person on? Exactly. They saw me. So when I started working that job, I had 6,000 followers. By the time I got fired, I had 25,000 followers. I had 600 followers to 25,000 followers. Working with Gymshark, doing modeling shoots and campaigns. Would you keep that person on?
No. Let's speak about Gymshark because I'm sure a lot of people want to know about that. How did that come about? Was it just a message? Was it a DM? Did you ever reach out to brands even other than Gymshark? And then I suppose how did it escalate? And what would you say to kids or future aspiring Gymshark athletes?
Okay, my Gymshark story is the most. Okay, like if you want to talk about self-belief, I think the way Gymshark came about for me is like the epitome of self-belief. So essentially, right, 2 years before I started working with Gymshark, I had an idea. I went to my friend. I was like, listen, I want to work with the biggest brands in the world in fitness. You want to do videography for the biggest brands in the world. Let's make a video and show these brands that we can do that for
Is that Ronnie?
No, it's not Ronnie. So
basically, he Gymshark, doesn't
he does work with Gymshark a bit, but basically what happened is I had a friend called Jack Stan. Yeah, he's doing really well. He bodyguards for like AJ and stuff like that, doing boxing, but he also makes YouTube videos, music videos and stuff like that. So I said to him, listen, let's make an ad for Gymshark during the lockdown, and he said, fuck it, let's do it. So I've linked him up. We've done this ad, and it was kind of ass. I'm not gonna cap. Well, it was a good video, but it was a bit corny. Anyway, doesn't matter. He's a really good videographer, so he made it look really good. It looked clean, everything. But it's just a bit corny because it was during lockdown. We had no weights. We had nothing to make it really nice and cool and epic or anything like that. But we just said, fuck it. We're gonna make this ad for Gymshark. I remember posting it, getting everyone to repost it. He reposted it. Then 2 years later, and then after I won the after that happened, lockdown opened up, the gyms opened up. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go to train at King's because Nathaniel Messiah works out there, and I don't even want to beg friends with him. I just kind of want to see what he's doing from a distance because there's clues in success. So I'm just gonna see what he's doing in the gym. I'm gonna train in the gym, make my gains, make my YouTube videos, and then it is what it is. Slowly and surely, me and Nathaniel started becoming friends because I was friends with lots of his friends, and eventually we just started talking. That talking ended up becoming like a pretty good friendship to a point where we like trust each other quite well and we have conversations all the time. So anyway, I was like, yeah, let's get a training session in, whatever. We did a video, nothing came from it, but we still, no, actually that's a lie. What came from it was a good friendship. That's all that matters. Then one day he was like he put us all in a group chat and he was like, yeah guys, this is just after the Arnolds. He was like, yeah guys, we're gonna do a meet up with Gymshark. We're gonna just give you some clothes and we're just gonna get you to take some pictures and stuff. So I was like, fuck it. So I've messaged Aaron, Azar Visuals on Instagram, and I was like, bro, I ain't got no money right now. I just shot a video with him like a week or two ago. So I ain't got no money with me right now, but I'll pay you next week or whatever. Yeah. If you come down and shoot with me for Gymshark. That's even how he started working with Gymshark. So, let's just say one of the reasons why, because he probably did talk to people from Gymshark prior to that with Marvin and Connor. So that day happened. I've come down. I've shot the video with Aaron, and one of the girls from Gymshark just looked like I was like rebounding, so I was pretty shredded, but still full and stuff like that. She literally looked at me and was like, "Oh my god, you look perfect. And I was like, what? She's like, can I touch you? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Where?
So then she starts like readjusting my stringer and stuff like that. She starts tucking it into my thing and like pulling it out to make it look right. She's like, listen, just walk around and we're going to take some pictures of you. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So obviously I walked around, they took some pictures of me here and there. And then like we took a picture down the tunnel. Me, Nathaniel and Lewis took a picture down the tunnel. Obviously I didn't think nothing of it, gone back to work. This was like mid-shift, so I've had to ask. This is another reason why I knew I was going to lose my job eventually. Because I had to even ask them, like, can I just take a longer lunch break and then I'll just finish later and stuff like that. I was constantly doing stuff like that. So I just knew that this isn't going to lunch break.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've taken that time off. And then like the next, I remember like a few days later or a few weeks later, I get like, people start sending me like this ad. And I'm in the ad, and I'm like, oh shit, on Snapchat. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I guess I'm in a Gymshark ad, that's cool. Then Gymshark tagged me to something, I'm like, what the fuck? Or they tagged me to, and I've looked at, tagged me to the post, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. A couple of days later, Marvin gets exposed for scamming people, post gets deleted. I was like, fuck's sake. Then literally 2 days later, I get another tag from Gymshark. They reposted like my pictures basically, and I was like, okay, this is a good sign. Then I get an email from Gymshark, and they're like, yeah, can you come down for a shoot? And I'm like, listen, I'll come down for whatever you want me to come down for. So they invite me to the Gymshark lifting club. Me, Lewis and CJ went down to do a shoot. You know, great vibes, whatever. You know, I was just like, I can't believe they're paying me for this. I would have done it for free.
Yeah.
I remember the day that the pictures from that dropped. My friend that we did the ad with, he reposted it on his story. When he looked at the tag, because he tagged Gymshark, when he looked at the tag, what did he see? 2 years prior, the exact same day,
was the video?
Was when we posted the video.
That's sick, bro.
It was insane, bro. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he sent me the screenshot, and I was like, he's like, bro, it was literally 2 years exactly, like the exact date. And I was like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, the way the world works out, it will never be in your timing, but it will work out, especially if you stay consistent.
That's a bizarre story. It's like, basically, you could say Gymshark sponsorship came about from, first of all, you taking a shot in the dark, making this video for free.
Bro, shot in the dark.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like an absolute fucking long shot, and probably not expecting to get anything back from it, but going out your way, I'd imagine probably buying some new Gymshark gear to put on and make the video, getting your friend involved in it too. Almost kind of, I suppose, as I said, speaking into existence, and then taking an opportunity, right, fucking off work for a bit longer than you should have, to go to a Gymshark meetup. Obviously, you're in good shape, you got an opportunity, and then it just kind of went from there. But it's not like, oh, Yemi's so lucky, he got a Gymshark sponsorship, he's a pro bodybuilder, of course he's going to get one. It's because you went out your way to make this video. You went out your way to take some time off work.
Yeah, and you know, all these things happened in times when we didn't know anything was going to come from it. We wanted things to come from it, and nothing came from it when it happened. You know, nothing came from the first video, the ad.
Nothing came from it immediately.
Nothing came from it immediately, you're right. And then nothing came from, because I remember even sending that video to, actually, I think I filmed that video after I'd already been going to gym for a bit, because I sent it to Nathaniel, because he was the reason why I sent it was because Nathaniel was working with Gymshark. I already started building the friendship with him, and I told him, can you show your athlete manager? And he told me he did. Whether they saw it or not, who cares? Doesn't really matter too much now, does it? Like, so like, you know, it was like one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, like, it's just a rolling thing, right? Like, you do all these actions hoping for a reaction, and eventually, if you stay consistent on that thing, let's just say it took me 2 years to get an actual like work with Gymshark, and by that point I didn't have enough followers to just get a contract, right? So like, they, you know, it could have been anything. You know, I could have quit 2 years ago. I could have just said, you know what, fuck it, bodybuilding, I'm just going to focus on bodybuilding and just buy a whole bunch of gas.
Standard.
But I said, no, like, I'm going to commit to working with Gymshark, you know.
You saw the vision and you worked on it.
Bro, I saw the vision. Like, and that's why I say self-belief is the most important thing. Because nobody, if I went up to people 2 years ago and said, listen, or 3 years ago, listen, I'm going to be working with Gymshark and doing all this modeling stuff, they would laugh in my face.
Yeah.
Especially modeling. Especially if you looked at Gymshark's website back then. Because there weren't no muscular people until I came onto that site. Like, so Franklin was the first person they started using that had muscle. Obviously, Lewis had muscle, but not like at the time, not crazy.
It was more like influence. It wasn't bodybuilder.
It was models, bro. It was models.
It was models.
And, you know, slowly it started to, you know, change towards like, or skew towards the perspective of us. And it's one of those things where it's just like, no one's going to believe in you until you prove them to be, or prove yourself to be someone to believe in.
And then they're all your biggest believers then once you have made it.
And then even then they're still going to doubt you, bro. Because every single year they say Chris Bumstead's going to lose the title.
Yeah, true.
They said Chris Bumstead's going to win the title until he won the title twice. After that, they said he's going to lose it. I mean, he won it another 3.
Mad. I'm sure people will be interested in this. What would you say to a young guy or girl looking to follow the path in terms of Gymshark sponsorships and stuff like that? Would you say, because I know there's obviously you have the Gymshark lifting club and loads of, you know, I suppose teenagers, 20-year-olds.
Yeah, 20-year-olds, that kind of area. I'll say, if you want something, forget about what it is, right? If you want something, you just constantly pursue it. Over and over again. You're going to fail. You're going to be told that you're not good enough. You're going to, you know, people are going to close doors in your face. They're going to throw dirt in your face. They're going to tell you, they're going to throw dirt in your name. People are going to tell you that you're arrogant. They're going to tell you that you're not good enough. They're going to tell everyone, you know, this person's this and that. Don't listen to that. You know, just consistently be the person that you want to be and look at the things that are going to make you that person, you know. Is it your personality? Is it your physique? Is it the way you carry yourself? Is it the way you conduct yourself? Are you really good at making friendships? Are you really good at, you know, all these different things? Because it's all like, you know, being an athlete for all these brands is all these things in combined, you know. It's not just having a sick physique. It's, have you got a sick physique, but also are you good at holding relationships with brands? You know, do the people, because I talk to people from Gymshark all the time. You know, I coach people from Gymshark. That didn't come from just like being a coach. That doesn't just come from being a pro bodybuilder. That comes from having these genuine friendships with these people.
Yeah.
And not just friendships because they work for Gymshark, but friendship because I actually like you. You know, for example, my friend Luke, so I coach Luke, right? He works in the creative side of Gymshark. So how I met him is he was at the Telford shoot that we did, which was a power and legacy campaign. And then he comes up to me, he says hi and whatever, because obviously everyone at Gymshark is pretty friendly. He comes up to me, he says hi, what's up? He goes to shake my... No, actually what happened was I was wearing a necklace and he comes up to me, he goes, oh, is that from Crafted? And I said, yeah, it's from Crafted. And he's like, yeah, I really like Crafted. And as he was telling me this, I looked at his ring and he had an MF Doom ring. So I was like, oh, is that a Doom ring? And he's like, yeah. And then we started bonding over music.
Yeah.
So it was like, this was genuine things that we had.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the ability to make those kind of friendships, after a while, you're just going to get put to the wayside, you know. They're not going to think about you because...
You need to, like, it's like with me, I always say I'm very much a people's person. Like, I remember meeting you, and the first thing we chatted about was Jordans. Because you were wearing Jordans, I was wearing Jordans. And it's just like finding that connection. I get on a call with a potential client and I try and make some sort of connection.
Yeah.
Whatever it's going to be, where they're from, if I know someone from there, who the music they listen to, what they do for a living, I'll always try and make that bond straight away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you, like, because when it comes to influencing, maybe in 2014 or whenever like social media influencers started to influx, right? It was just being, you know, good looking enough or making things look aesthetic enough and people would follow you. But now it's about being a people's person, you know. Are you fucking talking to people in your DMs? Are you, you know, like for example, I have the cuddles. Now everybody's talking about cuddles.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. You want things that people can kind of like relay to you and things that make you unique and things that, you know, you can build a community around, because nowadays it's not about having 100k followers, right? Because everyone has 100k followers. It's about what you have with those 100k followers. Do you have a deep connection with those people? Can you go up to those people and have a conversation with them? Will they have a conversation with you? What do they want from you? Can you actually be somebody that inspires them or drives them forward? You know, you can't just be a pretty face anymore or sick physique.
Yeah.
I've seen so many.
You need to be the full package, because if you're not someone else's.
Exactly that. So you just, and if you're not good at these things, that's not an issue. That doesn't mean that you can't be that person. But what it does mean is that you now have to spend your time talking to people, learning people, becoming a people's person, because if this is what you want from life, this is what you have to do to get it. I think there's a thing where there's a misconception of what manipulation is, right? Like, you have to manipulate people into being the person that you like, into, giving you what you want from that person.
48 laws of power and all that.
Exactly. Every single conversation with somebody, every relationship, every friendship you build is manipulation. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just about making sure that you have something that somebody else wants and they have something that you want, I can go up to someone like Cian. For example, Cian, when I first met Cian, what drew me to talking to him, like he said about the Jordans, is he was dressed fly and he had muscle. So I was like, oh shit. Like, I remember even saying to you and Ryan, oh shit, like, I have no excuse to have no drip right now because you man are dripped out.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, I remember that.
Because, him and Ryan were dressed in really cool, fits, and I'm thinking, all right, cool, so I can't have an excuse, because I was kind of just being like, I have too much muscle to, look good, so I'm just going to wear tracksuit and jeans. Tracksuit and tees, you know what I mean? So I was like that. But, those things are going to, if you, are able to take something from somebody else, I took fashion from these men, for example, and then they, these men want to bodybuild, so I have bodybuilding for them, Now we could train together. Now
Yemi was holding a pro card in his hand. He definitely has it. Like, genuinely was holding it in his hand. I was like, give me that.
Like, let me see what that feels like, bro. Let me see that sword real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stuff like that, I mean, yeah, that weekend was phenomenal, though. I will have to say. That was probably one of the most life-changing weekends. Like, I'd never thought my life could change so drastically in 2 days. Yeah. Or 3 days even, because I won the pro card on Friday. By Sunday, I was fucking on the pro stage.
Professional athlete.
What pissing people off on Saturday though.
You tell me, do you think you or much kind of weight comes with the title of being a professional athlete, or is it just the same thing you were doing?
No, I would say there's a massive weight, actually. I'll be honest, because now the goal is bigger, the pressure's higher. Some pros probably won't be able to relate because some pros aren't that good, just to be honest. But where I've spoken, I speak the good talk and I look, very good, especially in the prep. Now people are expecting me to get them wins. People aren't expecting me just to be another pro. They're expecting me to go to the Olympia, place well at the Olympia. So there's all this kind of pressure being put onto me that they were like, okay, so you said you could win the Olympia one day. We told you you couldn't get a pro card. You got the pro card. Where's the Olympia win now?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Now this like, okay, so you proved us wrong. Prove us wrong now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now everybody looking like, the world's watching. I had posts that get 100,000 views, 200,000 views, 1 million views. Those are all eyeballs of people that want to see you lose. Those are all eyeballs of people that want to see you win. So you got to fucking show off. You got to show up. So I would say there's a massive pressure. When you're just training, I remember when I first started training in the gym, it was just about having fun. Getting in the gym, lifting some heavy weight, and just having fun with your boys, shooting the shit. Doing whatever. Now, it's work.
It's work, yeah. And being a professional athlete in comparison to other sports, obviously you don't get any direct pay. You don't get a wage from a football team or a basketball team. So how important is it to use that title to generate some money?
I mean, it's everything, really. The thing about bodybuilding, right, is that you can either be somebody or nobody. You could legit, there's pros right now that are working. Look at Samson before he was Samson that he is today. He was working construction jobs and building work jobs or whatever, electrician jobs, proper manual labor jobs, still had to eat food, still had to train hard. Nothing changed when it comes to bodybuilding. But he still had to work a 9 to 5 or fucking, them jobs always have extra hours. So, you don't want to be in that position, I mean, if you have to do it, you have to do it. But you don't want to be somebody that has to work X amount of jobs and have to diet, because it's very fucking hard. You heard me lose several jobs because of dieting. Yeah. I lost 2 jobs because of dieting and almost lost 1. So that's almost 3 jobs that I lost from bodybuilding.
Well, look who you are now.
Who cares?
And switching now small, but outside of gym, bodybuilding, Gymshark, who are you? What's your interests? What makes you you?
That's a good question.
Because obviously it's quite easy to be I am the bodybuilder, and that's just what I do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
outside of it, we know you're into your music and stuff like that. So chat to me.
Yeah, I mean, outside of bodybuilding, I am a massive fan of anime. You know, Japanese culture. I've got a fucking Japanese sleeve. You know, so it's like that's proper me.
And that's something I didn't know about you as well. I was hoping you were going to go down that route, because I remember the first time you started talking to me about Japan and China and the economy, and I was like, bro, I just thought you were a bodybuilder. I was like, where did this come from? You were on the spiel for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just staring. I was mesmerised.
Like, what? The nigga. Nah, so like I've got so like what Cian's referring to is we had a conversation and I was telling them about like the economy of China and stuff like that and why certain things are happening in certain places in the world, and I just have a massive thirst for knowledge, but more so a thirst for knowledge in places that aren't in the UK, because you know I don't feel like I belong anywhere, if that makes sense. I always feel like a nomad of some sorts. You know, like when people ask me, oh, where would you love to live? My answer would always be, I don't know. I would love to have a house in Japan, but like I know I wouldn't be able to live in Japan for very long because of the way their culture is. You know, I couldn't even go to a gym whilst wearing a stringer. I got tattoos. So it's like all these different, but like for example, like me in 2016, before I went to Japan, let's just say 2015, whilst I still had a sleeve, I would have been thinking, oh yeah, Japan's perfect. I would love to live there. Now I know it wouldn't make any sense for me to live there unless I was there for, you know, times in a year. So it's just like I need to find where I want to be at, and like where I want to be at for, you know, forever, where I would want to raise my kids and stuff like that, and I just haven't been able to figure that out. So the way I try to figure that out is by learning about the countries in the world, and I'm really into traveling as well. Like, you know, I've been to pretty much every single continent, so at least one country in every continent other than Australia, and then obviously Bali counts as the Indonesia. So I haven't been to Indonesia and I haven't been to Australia. But other than that, I've been to every continent in the world. You know, I've been to Thailand, China, Japan, been to, you know, America. I've been to so many places, and like I enjoy traveling. I enjoy meeting new people and seeing new faces, and you know all these things here. And that's why I think I even like got into bodybuilding in the first place, because I really wanted to be able to impact as many people in the world as possible. And I think bodybuilding is a really good way to do that. But also I'm really into, you know, fashion, and like I would love to start like my own clothing brand as well. I'm really into like, you know, just film as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like obviously you did your college course and stuff, so
Yeah,
you reckon that's definitely helped you in terms of building your social media and being able to edit your own stuff and
so
stuff like that.
But then on top of that, I'm really into like actual films as well, like, you know, Ryan too. So like that's another thing that me and Ryan have in common. So it's like stuff like that. I love like actual cinema, like videography. Like, you know, when you see like something that's just so cinema looking and stuff like that, it always really appeals.
The finer details.
Finer details, the shots, selection, you know, drones, stuff like that. That's why even people like Cooper, I get on with him so much because we have the camera thing together.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he always gives me his camera and goes, yeah, let's take a picture. You know what I mean? Like, he loves it. And like, it's just stuff like that. Like, I really am into like just learning as well. Like, I'm really into like kind of learning about new things. I think whenever I get a hold onto something that I'm interested in, I kind of take a massive grip in it and I just fucking sink everything into it and try to learn as much as possible, which is what allowed me to learn so much about, you know, Japanese culture, and then slowly started to learn about Chinese culture and all these other different countries and stuff like that, because a lot of these places I kind of like fantasize them and, you know, put them on this high,
almost.
Yeah, and I put them on this high pedestal, and I went, okay, let me deep dive into it and see what the reality is. And I was like, oh, okay, it's actually not as great as I thought. But, you know, I love the fact that I'm able to sit there and learn it and actually understand it and be able to have a conversation about it and regurgitate it in a way that comes from someone that actually understands the thing. Because there's two types of people in this world, right? There's somebody that understands something, and there's somebody that regurgitates another person's perspective. And I would always want to be that person on the left that's always the person that can, you know, understand something and then come with his own understanding of that conversation, and then actually add to that piece rather than just say, oh yeah, well, this is what I heard from someone else, or this is something I know because something I heard from someone else. It's always, you know, I'm just like I guess I'm. Well, what would be the best way to describe somebody like that? I guess it's just like somebody that has...
Just someone that has an interest.
Yeah.
Just someone that's interested in shit.
Yeah, so
Likes to experience new stuff and just
that's
interested
it.
in the unknown.
I love having a good life experience, and I really enjoy
Same.
the fact that I have like...
I think that's so important. And how important is it that, I know I probably should wrap up soon, but bodybuilding can definitely hold a lot of people back from experiencing stuff. Me and you both know people that don't leave their home because they've done too many steps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So how important is it? Because I know it's massively important for me to still live my life and travel and experience stuff. Traveling for me, I said it in one of the previous podcasts, it's been a massive thing for my family. Like when I was growing up, all my aunties and uncles were in their 20s and they were all backpacking to Australia, India. I remember getting phone calls from family members in South America, and it was always something that I was just dead set on doing, like backpacking, traveling. And I've done a fair bit of it as well. So how important is it to not I suppose bodybuilding allows you to travel to a certain degree. It does, but how important is it that you, and for people listening, that you still don't put your life fully on hold? Would you agree with that? Because I feel
no, I 100% agree with that, because at the end of the day, right, like bodybuilding's a job, right? Once you've eaten, trained, and slept, anything other than that, you're free to the world to do whatever you want. You can, go to the park or go to watch a movie or whatever. Some people decide that they can't, some people decide that they won't, but I've seen so many people burn out on the sport, and it's just due to the fact that they've dived headfirst into something that they aren't that good at yet, because bodybuilding takes time to be good at it, right? Like, I would say that I got here very quickly, in the sense of like, I've only had 3 competitive seasons, 2019, 2021, and 2023. Okay, 2024, 2019, 2021, and 2022, and then 2023. So 4 seasons altogether in my entire career. I'm a pro, and I've traveled and done whatever. Most people, they won't even be able to do what I've done in 6 years, in 10 years, or in 15 years. I've been training for 6 years. Most people haven't even, scrapped the surface of what I scrapped at this point. Yeah. So it's like, I would say I'm an anomaly to how fast I've been able to get in here and get out, or get something out of it. When you haven't got the ability to get anything out of it as quickly as I have, or faster, because there's people that have, you have to make sure that you have time for your life, because otherwise all you're going to have your memories of is being in the gym, training in the gym, and that's no life, bro. Like, there's
too much to experience.
There's so much to experience. You don't have to travel, you don't have to, whatever, to experience life, but I do believe life is about relationships.
Sitting down with your family, having a fucking meal, do you know what I mean? Or
like, there's no matter how many good memories you have, right? Is there gonna be a better memory than that one time that you and all your boys had that one fuck about and went out?
Yeah. Like,
what? No.
Realistically, like, my best memories, they're all from like nearly my younger years. Like staying out late and the partying and the the sessions or whatever it was. No, I don't want to do it again right now. But I will do it in the future. But that's what I remember.
And that's what you need. Like, even like, I'm 30, right? So I would say I'm pretty old when it comes to bodybuilding, in the sense of like, you're seeing all these kids, 21, get
bro, I keep forgetting you're 30, that's
20, whatever. Yeah, trust. I'm fucking immature as shit. But, like, you see all these people, they're doing like all this stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, these guys so young, and he's done this and done that. But it's like, man, if I didn't spend my 20s fucking about, I'll be honest, like, yeah, I'd be far better than I am right now at this age, but I wouldn't be anywhere near who I am now when it comes to experience and it comes to personality. Like, I have a personality of somebody that doesn't bodybuild with the experience of someone that does. A lot of people,
and you're a professional in the sport.
And I'm a professional in the sport. A lot of these people, they have no personality other than bodybuilding, and they ain't done shit.
And they're pretty average amateur as well.
And they're pretty average amateur.
Yeah.
It's only, like, I would say there's a time for sitting down and just fucking grinding. But there's also a time where you have to sit back and enjoy life. Because you don't know when you're going to fucking die. I don't know when I'm going to fucking die. But I know for a fact that when I'm sitting on my deathbed, I don't want to regret shit.
Yeah.
And if I died tomorrow, the only regret that I would have is that I didn't live till the day after.
Yeah. Right. Last question. Advice to Yemi 5 years ago, and also where's Yemi going to be in 5 years' time?
Ooh. Advice to Yemi 5 years ago, keep doing what you're doing because it's all going to work out. Advice to Yemi 5 years, where would I be in 5 years' time from now? I'm going to be Mr. Olympia in 5 years' time. I'm going to be traveling the world, and I'm going to be probably happy with maybe my wife, you see.
Mr. Olympia, heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it first, but most importantly, Mr. Olympia. Yeah. 5 years' time, I'm Mr. Olympia.
Right, cheers. Thank you.
My man.
God, that was sick.
I appreciate you, bro.
Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the YouTuber shit. And see you in the next one.
Peace.
Whew, that was good.
That was really good.